What's up, YouTube? This is Pluto Vision here, back with another video. Right, so I made a video a couple of days ago about Pluto going into Aquarius and how it's going to affect our relationship with social media and things of that nature, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about astrology in this video, but what I am going to talk about is my experience with me going 2.5 years without social media, and then comparing that to my experience with me coming back to social media and how it's affected me, right? So I guess to give a bit of a backstory, in 2019 I made the decision to deactivate all my social media accounts. Right. So when I was younger, I used to be pretty addicted to social media. I would spend a lot of time scrolling through Instagram and Twitter, constantly posting, constantly worrying about how many likes I'm getting or who's replying to me and who's DMing me and things of that nature, looking at what other people are doing and not focusing enough attention on my own personal life and my own development, right? And I was also having extreme levels of anxiety. I was having panic attacks. I was depressed. I didn't really have much motivation or willpower to do the things I wanted to do because I had these big dreams, goals, and aspirations and all that. But it seemed like there was always something blocking me. It seemed like I was moving through quicksand, right? And it's like I could never stay on track. So eventually, I got tired of that. Um, I started learning about dopamine and serotonin and how social media affects, your dopamine levels, your serotonin levels, as well as your mood and your mental health. So I used what I learned, and then I evaluated my own self, my own situation, and what kind of personality I have. And I was like, you know what? It's probably best if I just get rid of it all. So I did that. I deactivated Instagram, deactivated Twitter, Snapchat, and all I left was YouTube. But all I did was watch videos, So I didn't really count that as social media. All I did was use YouTube to learn new things and also watch card and fitness videos and stuff like that, right? So immediately upon getting rid of these apps, these accounts, like I instantly started to feel a lot better. Now it didn't happen overnight, especially considering how low I went in terms of my mental health. It wasn't something that just, next thing you know, I'm all happy and motivated. That's not how it went. But I slowly started getting better with each day. And that's what mattered the most to me, right? So from 2019, it was April of 2019, all the way till June of 2020, I didn't have social media. And in that year, I accomplished a lot. I started focusing more on my career, making more money. I started learning how to invest my money. Um, and I just started learning more about self care and learning more about myself and what I need, personally to be a better person and be successful. I started learning more about myself. And in that year, I accomplished many things. I doubled my income. I ended up getting my own apartment. I bought my dream car at the time, a C6 Corvette, and I also bought a Camaro. All that happened in 1 year. Like I went from zero to that in 1 year. And the difference is that I was much more focused, disciplined, and just ambitious. I had much more willpower than I ever had. And it just amazed me how much these apps were affecting me and how much these apps affect other people as well. Right. Because when you're constantly scrolling through social media, like your dopamine levels are being depleted, right? And you're hooking your brain on instant gratification. So if your brain's hooked on instant gratification, how are you going to go out in the real world and accomplish something that actually takes real work? You're just not going to be able to do it. It's either what your brain's programmed for something completely different than what you actually want, right? And that was the difference, right? So in 2020, once I accomplished those goals, I had my cars, I had my place, I was making good money, felt like I was on top of the world. I got back on social media and I started posting a lot, started posting myself, posting my lifestyle and all those things. And slowly but surely, I started to decline. I started to revert back to my old self, right? I started having anxiety again, started having panic attacks again. I started feeling depressed again. My willpower was slowly being depleted. Like I wasn't able to take on the same workload that I was taking on before. I was feeling stressed all the time. my stress tolerance levels were lower because I had a lot of unnecessary stress, right? And all this was coming from the freaking phone. Like it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think that these apps can affect you that much because even when you're not on these apps, subconsciously it's still on your mind, right? Like you feel that urge to pick up your phone and scroll through social media and see how many likes you have and all that stuff. Like it's subconsciously you're still thinking about it. Even if you're not consciously thinking about it, it's still in the back of your mind subconsciously, right? And that's why your cortisol levels go up. That's why there's a direct correlation between high cortisol levels and high phone usage, right? Um, and like I said, like it affects your dopamine levels in a negative way. So, like I said, because I was getting hooked on instant gratification again, doing things in the real world became harder, right? And I ended up reaching rock bottom again with my mental health, and I wasn't in the same position I was because like in 2020, I was off social media the first half, but I was back on it the last half, from June till December, and like I said, I went backwards. So I got rid of social media again. Um, and I stayed off of it from 2021, through 2021 and 2022, right? And during those 2 years, I was even more focused than I was the first year that I was off social media because I learned a lot from that year, and I also learned a lot from the 6 months that I was on it, where I started to go, downhill, right? Even though it was a negative experience, like it made me more mentally tough because I was trying to still uphold my lifestyle and still have that same level of discipline, but I had, something in the background stressing me out. And there were also other things. I into a bad relationship and all that stuff, which, if it went for social media, I wouldn't have met that person. That's the funny thing. It was a terrible relationship. So there were many other things, but like I said, I got off of social media again. My willpower went back up. My motivation, I was motivated again. Um, my mental health was a lot more stable. I wasn't anxious and all that stuff. Like it just slowly started to dissipate, and I started to go back to my natural state, right? And in those 2 years, I doubled my income again. I hit the six-figure mark for the first time. I was 23, 24, because it was 2022. My birthday's in June, so I was 23 and 24 years old. So I hit the six-figure mark for the first time that year, doubled my income for what it was when in 2020 and 2021. Um, so I did very well for myself. I saved up a ton of money. I increased my investment portfolio by a lot. I bought another Corvette, a C7 Corvette. Um, I was doing pretty damn good, right? I accomplished things that 3 years ago I was nowhere even near accomplishing, right? So in 2023, after doing all that, accomplishing all that, I got back on social media again, right? Now, this time, the effects weren't as detrimental and dramatic as it was in 2020 because I matured a lot, you know? Um, I didn't find myself having a lot of anxiety or depression or anything like that. Um, but I did notice that I was tired all the time. And that's just because of the fact that when you're scrolling through your phone all the time, you're zapping yourself of your energy because it takes mental energy for you to be able to process all that information. And that makes you tired physically. I was tired all the time. I wasn't as motivated as I used to be. Um, my willpower wasn't what it used to be. And it felt like I was moving through quicksand and I wasn't putting forth the same workload that I was before. Um, and I was just constantly distracted. It's just like my mind was all over the place. Like I couldn't focus on what I wanted to do and what needs to be done to get to the next level, right? And like I said, I was posting a lot. I found myself wasting a lot of money and time trying to impress people on social media. Like I would buy things just so I could post my new outfit, or I would go places with friends and stuff that I really didn't even want to hang out with, just so I can post on social media. And it wasn't the only reason, but I found myself preoccupying myself more with that type of stuff than I should have. You know what I mean? Um, that's not to say I didn't like hanging out with my friends, but like I said, like a lot of times I would go out with them just so I can post stuff to get validation online. Um, so what else? I found myself being more stressed out than usual. My tolerance for stress went down because, like I said, social media increases your cortisol levels, um, which wreaks havoc on your overall health. Because high cortisol levels obviously makes you more stressed. That affects your testosterone levels. Um, it causes inflammation in the body, which also explains part of the reason why I was always tired. People don't really make that connection, but high cortisol equals high inflammation. High inflammation, well, you're going to be tired because your body's constantly having to, fight that inflammation, and that can only happen through rest. It's crazy how a phone can have that big of an effect on you, and people don't even realize it. Um, so after 2023 was over, I made the decision to get back off of social media, right? And it hasn't been that long, but I noticed my energy levels are way higher. I'm way more motivated. I'm not tired and sleeping all the time. Um, and it feels like I can do the things that I need to do when I need to do them. It's like I don't have anything that's like holding me back mentally. I'm not worrying about what's going on online or any of that thing. It's just not. It's like a thing in the past now, right? And honestly, like I don't plan to go back anytime soon because I've seen how I performed off of social media and I saw how I performed while on it. And to me, like, you know, it's night and day. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody. Some people they need it, to grow their business or whatever. But if that's the case, then get rid of your personal accounts and just focus on the business, right? And then there's also some people who just aren't affected like that. Like they don't really spend a lot of time on their phone, right? And for some people that, it works. But for me, I have a bit of an addictive personality and I can be a bit compulsive when it comes to those things. So it's just like I'm not going to sit here and fight myself all the time to stop myself from doing that when I can just get rid of it completely and I can use my willpower on something else because you don't have infinite willpower. So if you're constantly having to waste your willpower on not freaking scrolling through your phone, not picking up your phone, that willpower can be used somewhere else. You know, you're just wearing yourself out. So that's why I personally get rid of it. That's why I just deactivate it because if I just delete the apps, like I'm still thinking about what's like in the back of my mind. I'm still wondering like what's going on, on these apps, and I'll be more prone to just downloading the app again and get back on it. It's just like I just get rid of it. So it just depends on your personality type. Um, People like me who find themselves getting addicted to things pretty easily, just get off of it. Use that addictive personality for something more constructive, like building your business or growing your income or learning how to invest or just learning something else or doing something more productive with your time. Nothing productive about scrolling through social media. It's just not, right? Another reason why a lot of people don't want to give off of it is just because they're worried about, you know, losing contact with friends. And the way I see it is you have a phone, you can just text this person. Simple as that. And if you delete your social media accounts and these people don't reach out to you, they were never your real friend in the first place. They were just acquaintances, or they're basically online acquaintances. So why sacrifice um, your progress in life for people who literally don't even care about you? Like, they don't care if you succeed. They probably don't even want to. And that's another thing. When you're doing well and you're posting on social media, you attract a lot of haters, or people that pretend to be cool with you just so they can get close to you so they can somehow benefit off of your lifestyle. It's just like why even invite that energy or those type of people into your life? Like they don't do anything good for you. Um, and you also feel much more a better sense of privacy. Like no one knows what I'm up to except for the people that are close to me. And even then, like they won't know if unless I tell them. They don't have any access to me, and that's a beautiful thing. Not giving people too much access to you. No one can contact me unless they have my phone number or they find my YouTube channel, which no one I know. I don't really tell many people about my YouTube channel. So it was just like I'm much more free to do what I want without other people knowing or trying to interfere or anything of that nature. Um, and it's just a distraction. Like even if you try to rationalize your social media usage and be like, oh well, I'm learning from Instagram, I'm learning from Twitter or TikTok. At the end of the day, like the information you're learning on these apps, people posting on is very surface level and superficial. You're not gonna, get a deep understanding of any topic from social media, with the exception of maybe YouTube. But these other apps, like you're not getting a deep understanding of any topic that you think you're learning. You're not learning anything. You're just learning the surface level of something and thinking that you know. So you don't know anything from just learning the basics of a topic. So that's another excuse that's just not really valid. Um, so yeah, that's just my experience. That's my perspective. I know it said 2.5 years at the beginning of the video, but now I do the math, it was really 3 years. Um, but anyway, who cares? So if you made this far in the video, tell me your experience. Tell me what your experience was with you not having social media, or if you haven't actually deactivated yet, tell me why you want to deactivate and what benefits you think will come from it. And if you disagree with me and you think that social media doesn't really have an impact on you or your mental health or anything like that, tell me why you believe that as well. I'm an open minded person and I'm open to other people's perspectives and opinions. So, tell me your experience. And yeah. So if you like the video, drop a like. If you don't like the video, drop a dislike. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. Um, Subscribe to my channel. For the most part, I'm mostly gonna be posting astrology content and things about spirituality, but I'll also be just dropping content on the things that I want to talk about because at the end of the day, it's my channel. So I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. So if you're interested, hit the subscribe button. Peace out. I'll see y'all later.